Cattles and Ramie. Sactown Sports 1140.
This is Jason Jones of The Athletic, and I think the Kings should go with Jaden Ivey, the guard out of Purdue, with the 4th pick. Assuming they don't trade it, go for the guy with the most potential upside, and that seems to be Ivey right now.
All right, so everybody's got their predictions. Predictions for the 4th pick tonight in this draft. Draft is what? About 90 minutes away, Ramie Makloff. Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports 1140. Let's bring a friend of both of ours onto the show right now from The Athletic. His name is Zach Harper. Zach, we appreciate the time. We know you're a very busy guy during this day. Let me start with the obligatory, obvious question for you. What are you hearing about this 4 pick tonight?
So I don't think a trade's going to happen, but every time I think a trade isn't going to happen, it ends up happening, so I don't know there. But it sounds like if they keep the pick, Keegan Murray seems to be the guy. I think Jaden Ivey has the most upside there, but Keegan Murray has a ton of potential to be a star role player in this league.
What do you think about the possibility that they take Jaden Ivey, but then trade him after the fact? That to say to the teams that are interested in Jaden Ivey, hey, you didn't think we'd take him, so you didn't trade up to this spot, but now he's ours. And if you want him, you're going to have to pay the price that we're asking.
First phone call they make is to the New York Knicks. Knicks apparently love Jaden Ivey. They would love to trade up from 11. And if you're the Kings, you're probably asking for Obi Toppin. You're probably asking for Emmanuel Quickly, that 11th pick. Like, there's a lot of leverage you have there because the Knicks are so desperate for a star. So it wouldn't shock me if the Kings just say, you know what, Ivey's the best guy on the board. We'll take him. If we have to keep him, we can pair him with De'Aaron Fox. If we decide to trade him, we're going to get a bounty for him.
Zach Harper of The Athletic is with us here. Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports 1140. So let's go back to the Keegan Murray idea. If the Kings actually do make that happen, they don't trade out Zach and they pick Keegan. Should we assume that Vivek had a heavy hand in that decision, or would you say Monty is, also a fan of Keegan?
I think it's probably both, because I think, we've heard a lot of rumors and a lot of conjecture that Vivek really likes Keegan Murray. Now, I think you would have some concerns based on the 2014 video of him saying, Nick Stauskas, got to be Nick Stauskas, right? I think there's probably some PTSD there. But the good thing is, I think Keegan Murray is Stauskas proof. Like, I don't think you can mess this up. I think Monty McNair has got to be a fan of his. It's the type of player that Monty McNair would want to have in this roster and in this rotation right away. So even if Vivek is a big hand in this, I think it's probably the right pick.
And Keegan Murray seems to be the guy that's more pro-ready, that's more NBA-ready, Zach, where Jaden Ivey has the higher ceiling. We've asked you what you think they'll do in these possibilities. Let's say you're Monty McNair. Are you taking Keegan Murray, the guy that's more NBA-ready, or Jaden Ivey, the guy that's got the higher ceiling?
I mean, it's tough. Like, you have to decide, do you trust Keegan Murray's shooting, right? He was a terrible shooter his freshman year. He was a great shooter his sophomore year, and you're looking at 220 career attempts to figure out if the guy can shoot or not. That's not a lot, especially at the college line. I personally like Jaden Ivey more. I think he's a star. He's getting a lot of John Morant comparisons. I don't think that's right because he's not the passer that John Morant is. But I think that his potential, I do think he could be an all-star guard at the NBA level. I think he's incredible. I would go Jaden Ivey, but I don't think you can go wrong with either guy.
You're singing my song, Zach Harper. You're singing my song. Zach Harper with us here from The Athletic, Cattles, Ramie, Sactown Sports, 1140, live from the draft party here outside of Doco. Zach, if it's not Keegan Murray, right, let's have some fun here for a minute. If it's not Keegan Murray and they move out of that, say if they move out of the pick and they drop down to 6 or 7, is there somebody outside of Murray or Ivey that we're not talking about enough that could be Monty's guy?
I think the guy then would probably be someone maybe like an A.J. Griffin. I think A.J. Griffin out of Duke is super intriguing to a lot of teams. I think Dyson Daniels out of the G League is a combo guard that can play the 2. He can play the 1. Got good size, good athleticism. I think that's someone that would be very enticing. Or if they decide hey, we need a big man, and they get down to 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that range, Jalen Duren from Memphis or Mark Williams from Duke, those are 2 guys that project to be excellent defenders. You'd want to put them alongside Domantas Sabonis. So I think those are all potential targets. The one guy I don't think will be Shaedon Sharpe. Shaedon Sharpe's stock has kind of taken a dip here. I don't think he would be the guy that anybody would be dying to get. He's got a ton of talent, but people question why he didn't play Kentucky last year.
Shaden Sharp is, I don't know if I would say my favorite guy in this draft, Zach, but the guy I'm most intrigued by. The top recruit coming out of high school, every college wanted this kid, and then he doesn't play last year for Kentucky. I mean, if I'm really going to take a gamble of the high ceiling, but also the unknown, that's probably the guy that I'm taking. How scared off are you by the unknown with the Shaden Sharp?
I mean, I guess I'd be more worried about, he apparently has not been great in workouts. And I don't know how much stock you put into workouts. Like, apparently he was in a workout with Benedict Mathurin out of Arizona, and Benedict just dominated that entire workout of 3-on-3 and all that work. And I think that's put him higher on the boards in those workouts is what Benedict has done. I still think, look, there's a ton of talent with Sharp. He was ranked number 1 in his class for a reason. But, yeah, I'm a little concerned with the fact that we haven't seen him play basketball in essentially 2 years.
Zach Harper with us from The Athletic. He's Ramie. I'm Cattles and Ramie here at Sactown Sports 1140. All right, let's talk about some non-draft prospect stuff here, Zach. A lot of talk about John Collins, the possibility of the Kings trading for Collins. How close is this? Do you see this being a possibility tonight?
I don't think it's close. I think if it happens in the next couple of weeks. I don't think it's going to happen tonight. I think Travis Schlenk is going around the league figuring out what the best possible combination is. Boston's apparently interested. Detroit could be interested. There are a lot of teams interested in John Collins. I don't like the pairing if the Kings decide to do it. I think it's a bad big man to put next to DeMontis Sabonis. Both are very good. Both are guys who can put up numbers, but both are guys who struggled defensively at times when they had great defenders next to them. Miles Turner in Indiana and Clint Capella in Atlanta. So then to put those two next to each other, if the Kings' problem is still defense, that's not going to solve anything.
How much fire do you think there is to the smoke coming from Brooklyn right now, and that whole thing just burning to the ground? So starting with Kyrie not getting the extension, and then KD wanting out after that.
I don't even know what we're supposed to do at this point. It almost seems like we might have a scenario a month from now where Ben Simmons is the last one standing in Brooklyn. Like, that just seems insane. And we don't even know if he wants to play basketball, right? Like, we don't know what's going on there. This is a perfect Kyrie situation where he has absolutely lit a match, thrown it on the ground into a pool of gasoline, seen everything go up in flames, and been like, wow, who threw that match? This is crazy.
Zach, one last one for you here. DeAndre Ayton. He's somebody who's being talked about an awful lot. I know he's been linked with the Detroit Pistons, but also he's been linked with the Kings. Do you think in any way possible in this universe the Kings can get in on this DeAndre Ayton talk and make something serious happen?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that the Kings could get into the mix. Obviously, Harrison Barnes is a guy just contract-wise that goes out in that trade regardless. I think maybe throwing the number 4 pick, whoever that ends up being, throwing in maybe a future pick or two, depending on how protected they are, that would get them in the mix. It does seem like Detroit is the best option right now. They cleared a ton of cap space with that Jeremy Grant trade. They got a lot of assets. There's a lot they can do there, and there appears to be some mutual interest. Regardless, I think we're going to see the Suns work out a sign and trade. They don't want to pay him the max for whatever reason, and he doesn't want to be there. So I do think he's gone no matter what.
His name is Zach Harper. He's from The Athletic. Zach, thank you for the time. I know you're super busy today and tonight. Let's do this again soon, my friend.
Anytime, guys. Thank you.
So there goes Zach Harper. Interesting there. Interesting last note from Zach. He does not think the John Collins thing is going to happen. He thinks the Kings will stay at 4 and pick Keegan Murray tonight. But he said he does think the Kings could get involved with DeAndre Ayton.
That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. How interested are you in a DeAndre Ayton? Because that guy has all the talent in the world. There's no doubt about that. And big men like him are hard to come by. But at the same time, like, what happened in Phoenix that they just fell out of love with that guy 2 years or 1 full season removed from going to the NBA Finals with him as one of the centerpieces?
You know, there have been some questions about whether or not he's somebody who plays his hardest night in and night out. He said he said back when he was getting drafted that, if you get to the second contract, you've made it. So I think some teams are concerned that once he gets this second max deal, if he gets it, he's going to tap out and say, thanks a lot, and then just pretty much leave. So there are some questions about DeAndre. I don't think I would max him, but if you're telling me you could bring him in for less than the max, I'd have the conversation for sure. There's no doubt about that. We're live from outside of Doco. The crowd is picking up. If you're wondering, people, if you want to get here soon, I would say yes.
Place is popping.
You want to get here soon. Even though it's very warm outside, the Kings fandom, they've shown up in force. It's getting busy. So the earlier you can get here, the better. There's no doubt about that. By the way, thanks to our friend at Power Technologies and Two River Roofing for helping us put this together and bringing you all the draft coverage for the past few weeks. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully it gets even more fun as we're getting ready for this fourth pick in the draft. We're about an hour and 20 minutes away from the draft kicking off. It's Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports 1140. Get some fun coming up for you next.